Good morning. This is Talking Animals on WMNF. I'm Duncan Strauss, and my guest today might be, well, you or you. By which I mean once in a blue moon, I jettison the chief component of the Talking Animals format, a long-form interview with a single guest, to give voice to a broader array of animal organizations and leaders and concerned animal advocates. That's what's happening on today's show. Folks, including you, are invited to briefly describe your organizations, promote upcoming fundraisers, benefits, adoption events, or other notable gatherings, call attention to pending legislation, highlight an issue that you may feel have gone unnoticed, or a high-profile issue like the proposed bear hunt, and so on. Today may also provide airtime to listeners who have important animal-oriented information to announce or comments to offer on animal welfare news. There really are all kinds of things. If you have a rescue, a sanctuary, other kind of organization, today's the day where we'd love to hear from you, and whatever you'd like to say in that regard. There are just two main grounds, really, to give as many people as possible the opportunity. We were going to aim to keep the calls brief, figure about 3 minutes or so. And please do not mention the price or cost of any product or service or event. This is the odd part, I know, even if it's free. But I'll be taking calls at 813-239-9663. I don't typically have a call screener, and I don't today either. So when you call in, you may end up on hold without speaking with anyone, and that's fine. That's just hang tight. You may be on hold for a few minutes, but we'll try to get to you as soon as possible. And we're going to try to incorporate as many people as want to participate today as we can. On the other hand, if you prefer not to call, or if it's just not practical for you to call, you're at work or whatever the case may be, you're welcome to send your comments by email to dj@wmnf.org or by text at 813-433-0885. We'll be happy to receive and read those messages. So let's get started here on Talking Animals on WMNF with an email that arrived yesterday, actually, getting a jump on things. So it says, "Hi, Duncan. I'm dropping by to tell your listeners about Proud Spirit Horse Sanctuary. In operation for nearly 35 years, we are one of the most successful, longest existing facilities for at-risk horses in the United States. We have intervened on behalf of over 400 horses, as well as dozens of other animals. I'd also love for the WMNF family to know about my two newest books. I've written 6. But I'm most excited about and honestly really proud of Liberty Biscuit and the standalone sequel, Little Pearl. There is a general theme of inclusion. The family is mixed race, but that does not define this story. There are peach biscuits, a mystery, family secrets, and the best part, a bedraggled little donkey who adds his own style of shenanigans and hijinks. Both books are for ages 8 to 108, and they are shining the light on accepting and embracing people who are different from us. Plus, of course, kindness and empathy towards animals. And they're available wherever books are sold. I'm a fan of supporting local indie stores. Any store can get these titles in for you." So she's saying thanks to us, and we, of course, thank her. That's from Melanie Bowles from Proud Spirit Horse Sanctuary. So again, you can do what Melanie did, write us in an email at dj@wmnf.org, or if you'd like to call in, and we'll be happy to put you on the air with whatever your comment is about your organization or your issue that you think is important, or any forthcoming events, or virtually anything animal related. Really, this is kind of your day to cover whatever you can that you have an itching to say, or follow up on, or comment on. And with that in mind, we have another email. It says, "Hi, Duncan. As discussed on your recent show, the public can now obtain cost-free assistance and consumer protection tips for their wildlife conflicts from, parentheses, Truly Humane Wildlife Control Specialists at 411 Wildlife. And the website for that is 411wildlife.org. They can also find Truly Humane Wildlife Control Companies under the Wildlife Conflict tab or the Emergency tab for help with injured wildlife, and Animal Help Now. And the website for that is animalhelpnow.org. right, so we're going to hear a talking animal for a sec here, as we encourage you to, again, call in with any comment. You can be the guest briefly here on Talking Animals today. It's wide open. Any discussion, any comment you'd like to make, any promotional comment about it. If you have an organization that's got an adoption event coming up or some other fundraiser, or you just want to call attention to there's a lot of pending legislation or major issues going on, including the bear hunt, and we're going to talk about some news items in a sec here. But for now, let's hear one of our favorite talking animals over the years, and then we'll come back. 813-239-9663. If you'd like to call in and join us here on Talking Animals, or of course you can email dj@wmnf.org. And you also have the option, of course, to text, as always, 813-433-0885. So this is Talking Animals on WMNF with a noted talking animal here.
Hello, I'm Mr. Ed. A horse is a horse, of course, and no one can talk to a horse, of course. That is, of course, unless the horse is the famous Mr. Ed. Go right to the source and ask the horse. He'll give you the answer that you'll endorse. He's always on a steady course. Talk to Mr. Ed. People yakety-yak a streak and waste your time of day. But Mr. Ed will never speak unless he has something to say. A horse is a horse, of course, and this one will talk till his voice is hoarse. You never heard of a talking horse? Well, listen to this. I am Mr. Ed. A horse is a horse, of course, and no one can talk to a horse, of course. That is, of course, unless the horse is the famous Mr. Ed. Go right to the source and ask the horse. He'll give you the answer that you'll endorse. He's always on a steady course. Talk to Mr. Ed. People yakety-yak a streak and waste your time of day. But Mr. Ed will never speak unless he has something to say. A horse is a horse, of course, and this one will talk till his voice is hoarse. You never heard of a talking horse? Well, listen to this. I am Mr. Ed.
All right, well, a show called Talking Animals, now and again you got to hear from Mr. Ed, I figure. So today, if you just tuned in a bit after the show began, just to let you know, we're doing kind of a special thing we do. Once in a blue moon, we've done it for, I guess, better part of 20 years, 15 at least, where we invite you to be the guest on the show. And it means you're welcome to call in or email in. Call 813-239-9663. Email dj@wmnf.org or text 813-433-0885. And let us know what's going on. Tell us about your organization if you lead one or you volunteer one, or if you have an upcoming event, adoption event, or fundraiser. Anything else that's on the news, we'll get into something that's in the news momentarily for sure, and that might lead us into something else that's kind of pending. But we've read a couple emails that came in already, and one more came in that I'm going to read right now, and we'll see if others have comments on it. It said, yesterday on McMullen Booth Road, near State Road 580, I saw 5 kittens on the road that someone threw from their car. What is the law on doing that? Well, obviously, I think it's safe to say that's illegal. I don't know the exact law that would govern that. Maybe someone else that's listening can call in. But that's a horrific thing no matter what. And I'm sorry you had to see that. That sounds awful. Jeez. So here's a story that certainly made headlines nationally. A man and his pet dog have been found dead after a suspected bear mauling that could mark the first fatal attack in Florida history. Yesterday, the Collier County Sheriff's Office and the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission, FWC, responded to a call at a property in a remote part of Collier County near Everglades City. The daughter of Robert Markle informed officials that she witnessed a bear kill her father's dog. Investigators then found 89-year-old Markle's body a couple hundred yards away as they searched the area, according to the outlets. FWC officials suspect that Markle, who lived alone on the property with his dog, may have been killed hours before they received the call. The bear involved may still be in the area as our officers continue to secure the perimeter, said FWC Officer George Reno in a statement for Fox 4 Now television. Out of an abundance of caution, we urge residents and visitors to remain vigilant and avoid the area. Officials confirmed in a press conference that they are using drones and officers on the ground to search the area following a fatal attack. So I haven't seen any updates on that. No, they're awaiting the results of DNA testing to confirm if the black bear did indeed cause Markle's death. So, and this may or may not tie in some way or another, depending on how people look at it. The bear hunt that we've been talking about periodically in this show and elsewhere. So if you have any comments on the bear hunt or this news story, 813-239-9663, or email dj@wmnf.org, or again, you can text, as always, at 813-433-0885. Sorry. Last one again. Okay. Also local, animal advocates have launched an email campaign in response to an ABC Action News investigative report that we first reported last week. This is from ABC Action News WFTS. A former employee, local rescue, and multiple community members say Polk County Animal Control is falling short of their expectations. In 2024, 401 dogs and cats combined died in the shelter for reasons not related to euthanasia. Additionally, 564 animals escaped from the shelter. The vast majority of those escapees were cats. That was pretty shocking, Jessica Ragoza said in response. Since the story aired, animal advocates like Ragoza have been escalating their advocacy, and others are talking to social media to share their concerning experiences with Polk County Animal Control. Ragoza has been forwarding our story, meaning the ABC Action News story, to Polk County leaders, and now she's encouraging others to do the same. We're writing to as many people as possible, mostly the commissioners. The county commissioner said it's on Facebook. The Polk County Animal Welfare Advocacy Group has launched an email writing campaign sharing county leaders' contact info and urging people to flood their email boxes and phone lines. As previously reported, though, to get a comment, a spokesman for the Polk County Sheriff's Office, which oversees animal control for the county, said the county's shelters and animals are well cared for, and that 401 deaths in 2024 are directly related to the number of unhealthy animals we receive in an open intake facility like theirs. And a much larger national story, of course, is bird flu, which is continuing to spread in animals across the United States more than a year after the first human case was detected. Since then, at least 70 people have fallen ill, and at least one death was recorded in Louisiana, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. The number of confirmed cases in humans has held steady for almost 2 months, but hundreds of dairy cows continue to be infected, and raw milk samples in several states have tested positive for bird flu, according to federal health officials. There's currently no evidence the virus is spreading between people, and the CDC has said the risk to the general public is low. However, some experts told ABC News fear the virus could still mutate or adapt to become more severe or transmissible. So this ties into a show we did a couple months back with a guy from Cornell, Dr. Alex Travis. He's the director of Cornell Public Health and the chair of the Department of Public and Ecosystem Health in the Cornell University College of Veterinary Medicine. We did that show February 26th, partly tied to this website that they've launched and they update vigorously. It's called the Avian Flu Resource Center. You can search for that. That brings all the latest news and update about various aspects of the avian flu. Really well done and great to sort of bust myths and keep the rumors at bay and let people know the legitimate scientific information about avian flu. All right, so let's remind you this is Talking Animals on WMNF. We're doing, again, a special edition of the show whereby there's no long-form guest as there typically is each Wednesday, and we're inviting you to be the guest. You can call in 813-239-9663. You can also, if you prefer, you can email dj@wmnf.org or communicate by text 813-433-0885. And let us know what's happening with your organization or what's on your mind, animal-related, anything in the news, the bear story I just read, the avian flu, other things. And if you have any important events coming up with your organization, or maybe just tell us a few minutes to describe your organization. You have a rescue or a sanctuary, some other organization that we should know about or hasn't been featured as prominently on Talking Animals as you would like. Here's a chance to step up and kind of fill that gap. 813-239-9663 or WMNF.org. And for people who like cats and dogs, we don't have to choose. We're going to play a song that kind of splits the difference in a sec. But we just got an email in saying, how do we stop the bear hunt? Well, that's a question that's complicated to answer. We did have someone on the show a few weeks ago talking briefly about it, and we hope to have someone else ideally in the next week or two before there's a big open meeting in Ocala on May 21st, 2 weeks from today. We're hoping to have someone again on the show to talk about the bear hunt. But, excuse me. But you can go to FWC and search for the bear hunt portion of their website, and you can weigh in with commentary about that and find out about other ways to register your concerns or complaints. And again, this meeting is in Ocala on May 21st. It's an in-person meeting, but that's going to be, I think, a powerful way to hopefully deter this bear hunt from getting approved. So it's just proposed at the moment, but it seems like there's a lot of support for it in certain corners that we might be surprised by. So it's important to weigh in. FWC website, and we'll hopefully have more on this maybe as soon as next week on the show. Hi, you're on Talking Animals on WMNF.
Good morning. I have an idea how to stop the bear hunt. Get large groups of people with reflective vests on to go all into the area and just be present and walking around. This would chase the bears away and stump the hunters. Hopefully, it's the only thing I can come up with.
So that the reflective vest would sort of deter the bears and the hunters, you're saying?
Well, just for safety, because there's going to be hunters.
Right.
But large groups of people that are not hunting, like maybe 5 people per group distributed throughout the area.
Okay. That sounds like, anything that... see, I'm hoping we can stop it before it even gets to the point where there's people out hunting bears, but I think we should consider any and all measures if it goes further that would deter any successful bear killing.
Right. And the other option I'm thinking of is if there are trappers or people that are legally able to do so, to trap some of the bears and transport them to, like, North Carolina. There are some Native Americans that live in those mountains that may allow them to be released there.
Yeah, that's a possibility. Relocating the bears. There's a whole other issue about trapping, but I know that's not the kind of trapping you mean. So you're just trying to find a way to safely relocate them to a different area. Yeah,
a more suitable environment where the people aren't all up in their grill.
Yeah. Okay. Well, these both sound like very cool ideas, and I appreciate you calling in to Talk Animals to share them with us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Many blessings, and stay in the light.
All right. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Hi, you're on Talking Animals on WMNF. Hello. Oh, maybe we lost him. I thought we had... Hi, you're on Talking Animals on WMNF.
Hi, can you hear me, Duncan?
Yes, I sure can.
I had to call. The lady's saying that some people out in the woods on reflective vests to go, like, scare bears. All you're going to end up doing is feeding bear food. I hunted bear in Michigan, and, they don't run away from their house. You'll defend your home, and that's all they're doing. You keep moving into their habitat. Anyway, that was my thought.
And do you have any suggestions about how we can halt or otherwise prevent the bear hunt?
The deer population has been kept in check by hunting, and maybe it might be the only solution. Reduce the bears or reduce our spread into their habitat. I don't see the latter happening, so unfortunately, the bear hunt is kind of the tool that needs to be used.
So you're saying some limited hunting could be sanctioned in the solution that you're proposing?
Yes, versus sending 5 guys out in the middle of the woods being bait.
Right. Okay.
We're invading their territory. That's the bottom line. So somebody's got to go, and it's not going to be us.
Yeah, well, so many of these issues are about habitat and development encroaching on the animals' original habitat and the way they're reacting. So
right. And thank you for taking my call. I love your show.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Don't go chasing bears.
Okay.
Have a good day.
Thank you. All right, this is Talking Animals on WMNF. If you tuned in a bit late, we're doing a little bit different show. We do once in a while here over the many years of the show, which is instead of a single guest for an extended interview, which is our typical format, of course, we're inviting people to weigh in by calling 813-239-9663. Email dj@wmnf.org or text 813-433-0885 and give us your point of view, whether it's about the bear hunt or whether you have information about an organization that you is important to you, that you lead or volunteer with, or some other event coming up that's an adoption event, let's say, or fundraiser, some other important event. And or just things that are in the news. There's a lot of animal news lately, and we've talked about the horrible thing where the bear apparently mauled the man and his dog to death. We just talked about that earlier. So we're also talking about the bear hunt, of course. Naturally, it's kind of okay, so we have an email. I'm not sure I'll be able to get to it all. It's quite lengthy, but I'll start it. Good morning, Duncan. I'll be calling, but I'm in the process of feeding 23 cats and 10 baby kittens. They're in my care right now. Excuse me. I've been volunteering with St. Francis for 5 years now, and it's a wonderful organization. It takes up a lot of my time, and I'm very happy to do it. We are saving lives and trying to bring down the overpopulation of cats in the Tampa Bay area. We trap, neuter, vaccinate, and return TNVR cats. After they are spayed or neutered, they recover for 2 days, and then if they're feral, we put them back out in their colonies where there's a feeder who will take care of them. If they appear social, we find fosters that will work with them so they may be adopted into loving forever homes. Right now, we're in need of fosters to help us socialize cats and kittens. Our need is great. Great is in all caps, by the way. Some of the cats that we trap are social already, perhaps even have lived in homes for years. Some get out by mistake, and some are abandoned by irresponsible and heartless owners. They end up in some of our feral colonies looking for food. We never know who we've trapped unless they have a clipped ear, which means they've already been fixed. Release those back into the colony immediately. I'm begging people to contact us and sign up to help foster these innocent, beautiful cats. Google St. Francis Society Animal Rescue and go to the volunteer page, scroll down, and submit an application to foster. There are many other ways you can volunteer, but right now we are in great need of fosters. Thank you. All right, well, thank you for that. That's very helpful. Let's hopefully get some fosters volunteering based on that message and important plea there. Hi, you're on Talking Animals on WMNF.
Yeah, it's Bob over in Melbourne.
Hi, Bob.
Hey, talking about habitats for critters out there. I just come across something that speaking of habitats, I just came across something that the EPA now is changing some of their rules by executive order, or what I call imperial edict. And one of them is that endangered species will no longer have their habitat protected. So, in other words, it's still against the law to shoot a bald eagle, but it's okay to chop down the tree that the eagle lives in and put up a condo. Do you understand?
Well, I understand what you're saying. I don't understand the rationale behind it, that's for sure.
Well, take a look at what our current administration is doing to everything else in the country, and that's where you're coming from. Also, the fact that the EPA, the federal EPA now will not cover any animals, do anything about any animals that are found in one state only. In other words, it's not a federal problem. It's a local problem. So that includes the Florida scrub jay. It also includes the Florida crocodile, key deer, manatees, only found in Florida. And this extends to every other state in the United States. So anyway, that's, the feds will not get involved with enforcing any of the rules about these animals because they are not found interstate. I want you to check into that. I've heard that from several different sources now.
Okay, Bob. Well, this
that pretty much leaves the bears out on the limb.
Yeah, that's for sure. And it's some distressing things to ponder, and just the EPA move alone, I'm still stuck on that.
That is just, Duncan, that just floors me. But anyway, that's where this administration is taking us to ostensibly save money. So I suppose that Kodiak bears are indigenous only to Alaska, so they're open to hunting season as well. So anyway, I just thought I'd leave that with you, buddy.
All right. Well, thanks so much for your call. I appreciate it.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So we've got a couple of emails that have animal attack themes. One says, "Hi, Duncan. I'm surprised by this alligator attack in Central Florida." He includes a link to a news article. "I've not heard of a gator attacking a canoe like this before. I've kayaked around gators before and generally felt pretty safe. We are paving more and more of their habitat, so it could be revenge inspired." So again, it's habitat that's being encroached, and on the theme of animal attacks. So one thing that is worth keeping in mind with the bear attack in Collier County is that it took place in a very isolated, woodsy, swampy area of Florida, far away from the populated areas of Naples and Immokalee. I just wonder why the guy was there. He must have been aware of the dangers from bears and other critters in the area. I got the sense, those are probably reasonable questions, but I got the sense he was a long time resident, and that's just where he happened to prefer to live. But, well, we can try to look into more information on that. All right, this is Talking Animals on WNF. We're taking an assortment of emails and calls. Calls at 813-239-9663. Emails at dj@wnf.org or text at 813-433-0885. And again, welcome to bring up any animal-related topic you can. This is sort of an open opportunity to raise any kind of issue or tell us about your organization or make a plea for volunteer fosters, as the earlier email did, or if you have an adoption event or some other notable event coming up that you want to make sure we're aware of, 813-239-9663 or WNF.org. And again, with people liking cats and dogs, listen to the show. I don't think the loyalties are that split, but we're going to hear a song that sort of deals with both here on Talking Animals on WNF, and we hope to hear from you with more commentary. Anything that appeals to you there, do you think is important that we should discuss or be aware of? Maybe things that have been underreported, news items that are below the radar or too far below. 813-239-9663 or WNF.org. DJ@WNF.org, or again, texting 813-433-0885. Norman Taninga, Walking My Cat Named Dog. So again, we got both constituencies covered there in that song. It's Talking Animals on WNF. Again, it's a special edition of the show instead of an extended interview with a single guest, our typical format, of course. I'm inviting folks to call in or email or text, become one of today's guests, briefly describing an animal organization, a rescue, a sanctuary, maybe one that you lead or volunteer with, or has some needs, like our earlier emailer looking for fosters for feral cats or cats that end up in a feral colony, fundraisers, adoption events, etc. or commenting on an animal issue, news item, etc., 813-239-9663 or WMNF.org, or email dj@WMNF.org. Texting 813-433-0885. The floor is yours. Again, we do ask that you not mention the price or cost of any product, service, or event, even if it's free. It's just one of the things that governs our broadcasting license for quirk. But so another piece of news that I noticed yesterday. Native Florida panther died at Zoo Tampa yesterday. It was Walter, estimated to be 12 years old. He was one of 3 endangered Florida panthers that was living at the zoo. He arrived at the zoo in 2017 for emergency care after being found in Highland County with severe injuries to his neck and paw from a snare trap, tying into trapping conversation that we've had. To save his life, most of Walter's front left paw had to be removed, unfortunately. But so he was unable to return to the wild, and that's why he remained at Zoo Tampa, serving as an ambassador of sorts. So rest in peace, Walter. 813-239-9663. DJ at WMNF.org. Okay, we got one follow-up emailer saying, can you please distinguish which St. Francis? And I think the emailer said it was St. Francis Society Animal Rescue. So I think that should put you on the right track if you're Googling to follow up on that request for fosters. So we're going to come up on Comedy Corner. So while we're hearing a comedy piece from one of our faves here, Eddie Izzard, we hope that you'll join us here on the air. It's an opportunity that we really like to provide now and again, and hopefully you'll take full advantage and join us with any kind of comment or input or point of view or introduction to your organization, etc. 813-239-9663, DJ at WMNF.org, or text 813-433-0885. Right now, let's hear Eddie Izzard with a piece called Talk to the Animals, appropriately enough, in today's Comedy Corner on Talking Animals on WMNF. Actually, before we do that, because we might have a call that we want to not keep them waiting too long. Hi, you're on Talking Animals on WMNF.
How you doing, Duncan? It's Glenn from Florida Rescue Farm. How's it going?
Oh, good. How about you, Glenn?
I'm doing all right. Thank you for hosting us the other week or whatever. I'm just curious about the bear hunting thing that's going on. And is the reason because there's too many bears?
I think that's one point of view on this for sure. Whether that's other people share that opinion or not, I'm not sure. But
I mean, what and how is that determined? I have so many questions about this.
Yeah.
Who determines that?
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of questions that I think a lot of people have, and again, if you go to FWC website and then search for bear hunt, proposed bear hunt, they'll put you right on the section of their website that discusses the Zoom meetings that they've had thus far, and there is an in-person meeting May 21st in Ocala where people can weigh in, and I think it's important that people can, they can also weigh in by message through that website, the FWC website. And
I'll be weighing in because I think, with all the expansion of development and stuff like that, I think it's more us coaching them than ever coaching us. And I believe that, if we continue to do that and continue to destroy nature, we're just killing ourselves. And that's my opinion. So, I think if we had a natural environment, we wouldn't have to worry about any of that stuff. I think if there was or land put aside where humans can come and animals can live without fear of humans, we would be in a better situation than we are now. That being said, maybe the future will be like that, and maybe we can work towards getting that. I know I try to do that. I know a lot of people are trying to do that. But I will definitely weigh in on that. I can't see the need for hunting bears. I'm sorry, they don't reproduce at a rapid rate. They're not really. They really basically stay away from humans unless you're encroaching on their area and they have no other options for food or whatever. I don't know how that works, but I'm just saying that this to me seems utterly ridiculous.
All right. Well, I hope you'll check it out on the FWC website and weigh in if you can in person. If not, then certainly by their email method there that you can register your opinion on the proposed bear hunt.
I will do. Thank you, Duncan. Once again, thanks for all your work.
Thanks for calling in. Appreciate it. All right. So let's carry on now back to the Comedy Corner. This is Eddie Izzard with a piece called Talk to the Animals in today's Comedy Corner on Talking Animals on WNF. And we still have a few minutes left of the show after that, so we look forward to hearing from you at 813-239-9663. Email dj@WNF.org or text 813-433-0885 on WNF. This is Talking Animals.
But, you know, whales, they're intelligent. They do whale song. We don't know what it means, but I think that whales are traveling at 78. They're traveling at 78 speed, and if we take them up to 45 speed, we'll find they're actually going, I love you, baby. And if it's quite all right, I love you, baby. Well, then I love you, baby. Yeah, they're DJs, you see. DJs of the sea. Because sound travels well in water, and they need a big PA to be a DJ, but they got their whole bodies. Yeah, it works, doesn't it? This next song is going out to all the goldfish down by the Azores. I love you, baby. So they're intelligent, and dolphins, they're intelligent, because we all saw the documentary Flipper. Well, dolphins came up going, what's that? What's that, Flip? Chiang Kai-shek is having trouble. Mao Zedong has taken over mainland China. Chiang Kai-shek has retired to Taiwan with some of his followers, where they will have a complete disregard for international copyright rules. Is that what you're saying, Flip, or do you want fish? Because every time, every episode of Flipper, he'd say the same thing. Always having a problem. What's that? What? A boy trapped in a well, trapped in the water. Three boys fell out of a ship, a small ship, a big ship. Two syllables. Big ship, small ship. Sounds like the deep. Bit like the deep, bit of shark. Jaws, like that. But gone with the wind. Okay. And they were all like that. There was Skippy. Yeah. What's that, Skip? A boy trapped drowning in a desert. Drowned in a desert. Ill. He's in a sandy place. He's ill. He's got a bad leg. What? Gone with the wind? And Lassie as well. What? Lassie, Flippy, Skippy, all that E sound, except for Flipper.
That was Eddie Izzard. Today's Comedy Corner on Talking Animals with a piece called Talk to the Animals, taken from his album, Circle. Let me get back to some news and some other discussion items in our final moments here of talking. I want to remind you we have a big event of our own coming up this very Saturday, May 10th. It's Tropical Heat Wave, and of course, various venues on Ybor City, Chuck Prophet and his Cumbia Shoes Band, Sue Foley, GA20, Chio, Skating Polly, Damon Fowler, Zach Person, Rocket 88, Black Honkies Band, Uncle John's Band, Tribal Style, the Apple Butter Express, and the Gulfport Gecko Amalgamated Marching Band to kick things off. So you can get your tickets at tropicalheatwave.org and find out information, find out more about the bands if I went too fast for you there. But it's going to be great. I look forward to seeing you there. But it's not too late to get tickets. Jump in today at tropicalheatwave.org. All right. Reminder that you can weigh in our final few minutes here of Talking Animals at 813-239-9663 or emailing DJ at WMNF.org. And found this news item. U.S. law enforcement and wildlife officials have raided a marine park in Florida following allegations of quote-unquote animal abuse at the site. 4 dolphins have died at the Gulf World Marine Park in Panama City Beach in the past year, local media say. Animal rights activists have recently posted drone footage appearing to show dolphins swimming in murky green tanks on the premises. Florida Attorney General James Utler said he would not tolerate any animal abuse. And goes on from there. We'll keep you posted on that investigation as we find out more. Right now we're going to have a caller join us here. Hi, you're on Talking Animals on WMNF.
Yes, I'm listening to your program. I've listened to it over the last year or two. And I'm in Michigan. We have a bear hunt up here. Allegedly, we have too many bears in upper Michigan. I can attest to some nuisance bears in the area, but, you know, that's our management plan is some of the hunt that goes on. And again, your last caller points out we invade their area and we get upset. But in Michigan, we have laws against harassing hunters. I don't know if you do in Florida. You might want to check that. And being out in the woods and chasing bear and stuff during the hunt might be considered harassment.
Yeah, I was gonna ask what constituted harassment under that law.
Yeah, and I'm not sure where that line would get drawn because I'm a lifelong hunter. I try to be responsible. I've never shot a bear. I help some friends who clean bear and eat bear. We used to eat a lot of bear. My brother used to shoot it, and my friends have, and it's actually quite tasty. But, you know, yeah, I was shocked. So I try to be responsible, and you know, certainly there's rules and guidelines that we need to attend to. But I feel your pain, and I had the gal that talked about relocation, live trapping. That's not a bad plan if you can get the monies to do it.
Yeah, does any of that go on with the bear hunt that you're talking about in Michigan?
Yeah, they do. They actually do relocate some of the nuisance bears, but they still have a hunt and a numbered take that they agree to every year.
And what is that number? I'm sure it varies from year to year, but what is it typically?
Well, it's usually a couple thousand a year.
Oh my God, really?
It's a we have a fairly robust population here, and there's a fairly robust economy built around it, actually. A couple of weeks of doing this and guides, and I find them a little repulsive myself sometimes because they come from out of state. They bring dogs. They not always are ethical, and I find it a little hard to swallow, you know, compared to our locals here. That, I mean, the Native Americans have eaten bear forever. It's one of their mainstays. And, you know, that is certainly a right that they claim and do exercise. I have some Native American friends that they will take bear and deer. It's part of their diet. And you can't live on deer alone. It doesn't have enough fat, but bear does. And it's actually pretty nutritious.
Wow, I'm still...
yeah.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead, please.
No, if we ate that stuff instead of the McDonald's burgers, we'd all be healthy.
Yeah, for sure. Well, no, I'm just sort of taking in the fact that it's upwards of 2,000 bears each year? Because I think the last one we did here in Florida that was halted, I think there was 300 plus bears.
Yeah. I listened to your numbers, but anyway, well, the other thing I'm going to end with, I got to run here, but it's bird season. The songbirds are out there nesting, especially up here, and people need to really control their cats. Everybody talks about the impact of the bears and stuff, but the cats just devastate the songbird population, and I would remind people to be responsible pet owners. There, got that.
Okay. So you're saying that the people that have cats are posing a threat to the various birds?
Absolutely. The data is overwhelming. Cats out are the number one killer of songbirds, and certainly, we have birds nesting right now. I have a duck nesting in my backyard. Never had it before. But, trying to keep the animals away from that poor thing. So, anyway, well, I got to run, Duncan.
Okay, well, thanks.
And thank you.
Thanks for your call. One quick question. How did you first come across the show up there in Michigan? I'm just curious.
Oh, I travel to Florida every winter, and I was listening, and I found out how to stream you guys.
I see.
And, I got hooked on you.
Okay. Well, that's good. All right. Well, I appreciate you listening. I appreciate your call today. Thank you so much.
Yeah, what happens down there is the similar up here. We're a microcosm and a macrocosm. We're not isolated in any means.
Yeah, no, for sure. No, it sounds like much bigger numbers and a much greater enterprise up there.
Yeah. Well, you got a different economy down there. You got big fishing, ocean, all of that. Ours is different up here. It's the Great Lakes and the woodlands, but it does support an economy and a populace. So, all right, bud.
All right, thanks so much for your call. I'm afraid. Appreciate it.
Yep. Take care.
Thank you. You too. All right. Well, quite an interesting set of viewpoints and pieces of information from our Michigan friend there. We're sort of just about reached the end of today's edition of Talking Animals. Coming up on WNF, it's The Conversation, the great show hosted by Mario Nunez and Joe King Carter. After that, it's The Scoop, WNF's brief news recap. Then we shift back to music programming with Jim Bannon holding forth from 1 to 3, followed by Nancy C. hosting the Wednesday Traffic Jam from 3 to 6 p.m., at which point our terrific Wednesday night block of Latin music kicks in. Right, visit TalkAnimals.net for audio archives of every show we've ever broadcast and podcasts on Apple and other podcast platforms are available that way too. Also links to our social media pages, and you can also subscribe to our newsletter to find out about our guests a couple of days beforehand and other news from the Talking Animals world. I'm Duncan Strauss. Thanks very much for listening. Have a good week. Thanks for all those who did call or email in. It's a periodic experiment. Some days it works better than others. Today, I don't think it was quite what I imagined, but people are busy, and sometimes we hear from people a lot, sometimes we can't keep up with everybody, and but I'm glad we got to include the people who did call and email in and text in, so thank you again for participating. So this is Talking Animals on WNF Tampa. Stay tuned for the conversation coming up on NPR after NPR News. We'll see you next Wednesday here on Talking Animals. We'll see you Saturday at Tropical Heat Wave. All right, thanks so much for listening. Talking Animals on WNF Tampa. Thanks.